As part of the work of Birmingham Education Partnership, welcome to this short session on self-care and looking after yourself for parents. We all know that getting through the actual day-to-day in lockdown is hard work. As a parent, you've got so many roles right now. One minute you're the homeschooling parent, the next minute you're the working parent, and the next minute you're the in-house catering service for lunch. Add to that the isolation from other adults in your social network, and the task of parenting can feel insurmountable. There's no magic bullet that will make living through this easy, and it can feel like an impossibility to build in self-care. So these slides offer some thoughts about things that might help. They're based in evidence, so we think they can help, but feel free to take what's helpful and leave what's not. Self-care can be all of these things here, but it can also be all the really small things you do in the day that add together. What are the really tiny things that you can build in? Maybe waking up 5 minutes early and having a cup of tea, taking 1 minute just to have a really good stretch, walking away from where you'd normally sit to go and have lunch somewhere else, take a shower, send a text to someone just to check in and to remind yourself you're not on your own. Make these things fit for you and experiment and see what works. Sometimes just accepting where we are can be helpful. Acceptance might sound like a bit of a strange thing in the face of such a challenging situation, but think of it this way. Accepting the situation you're in doesn't mean you have to like it. It also means that you accept the feelings you have, including all the difficult feelings we might feel. So when you're feeling stuck, check in with yourself. What is and what isn't out of your control? Once you've acknowledged what you can't control, you'll be able to move forward to work on what you can control. But be kind to yourself and remember that although it might feel lonely, you're not alone. Everyone's going through this in one way or another. There's no manual for doing any of this, so know that you're doing your very best during a very difficult time. Go back to basics when the going gets tough. Try setting your priorities for the day in the morning. So think about what really has to be done, and then maybe add in what you'd like to get done. Both children and you need good sleep, some nutrition, and ideally a bit of exercise every day. Those are the basics. That may mean you go on a jog while your child is on their scooter, if you feel able to go outside. But it could mean putting on music and dancing, or doing 10 star jumps in your front room is just as good. Find your network. So if ever there were a time to ask for help, now is that time. And by doing so, you're also modelling for your children that when you need help, you ask for it. Remember that school staff are still here for you as well. But also, if you're finding it hard to rely on your usual support network, you might want to think about reaching out to a local children's centre. Maybe there's a faith group that you have a relationship with. Or can you schedule regular video calls with important people in your family's life? At the end of these slides, there's a range of other supports that are also available. But know the people who you can message and call if you need to, and who the people are who you're happy with your children calling to give you some time to do something for yourself. Make a plan where you can. If you have younger children, then visual aids and timers to help your child know when you're available or when you need to work can be really helpful. Maybe one thing for younger children is setting up an activity they can do relatively independently and then using timers or visual stoplights, so a green piece of paper on the door when you're available and a red one when you're not, to help children know when you're around. Check in every 5 minutes or so with them and then move to longer periods of time as you go on. But go easy on yourself. Like everything else about the current situation, your work life simply might not be up to its usual standards. But as long as you're staying on top of your essential day-to-day tasks, you're doing your job, even if you're usually somebody who goes above and beyond. Take comfort in knowing that the people you work with are also likely to be facing similar challenges. And if you can and feel able to, try and be open with them about what you're realistically able to put in at work right now. Praise really matters. You will have learned a lot by now about what works for you and your family, so keep on doing the things that work. And praise is important every day, just for getting through, and really important to praise our children as well. Labelling praise for children can also be really helpful because they are also continually learning and having to cope with new routines and ways of doing things. So it helps your children know that you know they're doing their best, even in really uncertain times. As well as school, friends, family and your wider community, Birmingham has other support available to you at this time, all of which is shown on this slide here and can be accessed quite easily. Thank you for listening.